Hello, Hammerheads. This is Michael. I'm actually not here. I am on a business trip, and Wes and Seth were gracious enough to record the episode. Through the magic of editing, I get to make an editorial comment at the beginning, and that is simply to let Wes know that this is actually episode 43. It's not episode 44. With that said, we hope you guys enjoy Wes and Seth talking about the game that we all love, Age of Sigmar and Warhammer. Lots of talk of hobby and, you know us, there's going to be some rambling, but enjoy the podcast.
Age of the Hammer, a podcast about Warhammer by Games Workshop.
Hello, Hammerheads. This is Wes, and this is episode 44 of the Age of the Hammer podcast. Is that right, Seth?
I don't count very well, so...
Yeah, well, sounds right. So we're going to say 44. Tonight, Mike is not with us. He is traveling for business, and we wanted to get something out for you guys to listen to, so we are going to record a bit.
Yeah, so Mike's not here, so if you listen for Mike, you can go ahead and stop.
Yeah, if Mike is why you listen to the podcast, then I can understand that it is. Then go ahead and turn it off now. Thanks for downloading. Mike will not be here.
Appreciate it.
Well, yeah, so Age of the Hammer is brought to you by the South Georgia War Games Association. The SGWA is where the best miniature players in South Georgia get their game on. I actually did that correctly. Feel good about it. Age of the Hammer is also brought to you by Broken Brush Gaming, which is a local commission paint service located here in South Georgia. If you are looking to get an army painted or you have questions about how to paint your army, hit me up on Twitter at broken_brush, or you can email me brokenbrushgaming@gmail.com, and I will help you out and answer your questions for you. Today we are, I'm here with Seth.
This is Master Wes's master painting class.
Is that what that is? No, we're not recording in the game room at Mike's house like we normally do. We are recording in my extra boomy, because there's no carpet or anything, living room. And so if the sound is a little weird this time, we apologize. But we're going to do the best we can. Tila is also here painting some Doomfire Warlocks, and they're looking super cool. And Seth is painting
Chain rasps.
They're looking super cool. And I'm going to be working on some Daughters of Cain. So we're just going to talk about AOS like we normally do. Seth and I managed to get a game in 12:50, I think.
Yes, and it was actually a game, which was great.
Yeah, it was a one-on-one game, and we got to see how our army sort of worked a little bit. Got to see how the new AOS 2.0 works, as far as command points and some of the new rules and changes to the rules. And I'll say all in all that I enjoyed it. It's probably because I won.
Yeah.
By the skin of my teeth.
Yeah.
But,
you could say that you won.
Yeah, it was close. I think I had a ballista left at the end of the game. But I had more points. I won scenario.
But yeah, you're right, though. I mean, really, it came down to 1 point. He won turn 5 by 1 point.
Yep.
And it really doesn't matter how many models we killed, because he's just going to go back to his ear and be reforged, and I'm just going to get back up later on anyway.
Back up, so.
And you know.
Okay.
So
whatever arcane knowledge we acquired in this battle, that was it.
Yeah, moral victory doesn't really matter.
But yeah, so as normal, we'll start up talking about hobby. I have been just working on Daughters of Cain, knocking out the last few Witch Elves, and still working on Morathi. I posted up some pictures of Little Morathi the other day that I worked on this past weekend. I was really pleased with how she turned out. It's a pretty neat model. Not a super dynamic pose, but there's some cool bits going on. She has like a couple of snakes that look like braids in her hair, and she's got those big metal wings. So that was pretty fun to paint and work on. And then, like I said, just finishing up some last little bits on the Witch Elves so that I can get this posted out to the client, and we'll see this army hopefully on the table for somebody at the Nova Open, which would be super cool. As far as everything else goes, I've been reading the Soul Wars book. Trying to get through some more of that. That's the other reason we're not continuing with Soul Wars tonight is Mike's not here, and we didn't want to jump into the realms and all that kind of stuff without Mike, because he wants to talk about that stuff just as much as we do. So we're going to hold off until next week to jump into a discussion of the it. I've been reading the Stormcast Eternals Battletome, which is got some super cool stuff in it, both narrative-wise and rules-wise. I'm enjoying doing some list building with that, so hopefully we'll see more games in the future with the Stormcast Eternals and some Nighthawk and other things. So that's what I've been doing. What about you, Seth?
Well, I have not read the Soul Wars book. I bought it. It's sitting there in all its glory, hardback and everything. But I've been cramming all of my spare time into trying to get these Nighthawk finished, just because I want finally to have an actual painted army that I painted on the table instead of gray miniatures. So, and I think this is something easy that I can do, which, if you remember, I talked about doing a kind of Held Wraiths type thing, which I ended up not following through with because I saw a lot of people doing the...
Because everyone's doing it.
Yeah, everyone was doing the Realm of Fire Nighthawk, which looks really cool, and everybody's doing it really, really awesome, which I know I could never do, so I'm doing something a little different. I'm going with a little bit of death metal. So my Nighthawk are going to be from, however you want to pronounce it, Shamon.
Everyone says Shaman, but I think Kamen sounds a lot cooler.
Kamen.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, so it's the Realm of Metal. So they're going to have metal bones.
Which looks super cool.
Yeah, except for these that I'm painting up now because I want to separate my units a little bit, and having 40 chain rasps that all look the same until I get 160 chain rasps.
The other thing you can do to separate them out is just do different things with their bases.
I could do that. Now that I've started painting them different, I totally could do
Well,
that.
you haven't gotten to. So.
That's true. Actually, I really wanted to see which one looks better. I mean, the majority of them are going to be metal bone because I think that looks great.
It does look super cool. Especially because you're doing it like a golden, like a bronze or a brass.
Yeah.
And you can do some filigree on them, which is going to look neat.
Yeah. So it's still going to be deathy. And, I mean, who doesn't love death metal? A little bit of heavy metal, death metal, you know.
All
Now it. Yeah, we really should have called this one like 43.5
Yeah, right.
instead of 44.
Yeah. Basically just we're going to be painting and we're going to be rambling.
This is going to be nothing but rambling.
So enjoy.
But other than painting, I'm really excited to read the Soul Wars book. And I've been list building with the new Nighthawk book, which is shenanigans.
It's really shenanigans.
Anybody that says it's not didn't build the list with 3 battalions at 2,000 points that I did.
Right.
Which is hilarious. Yeah, I'll start the game with 4 command points.
I mean, you might as well just build right up to 2,000 points. Maybe you put it 4.
No, that's just, well, if I get my turn, I get the extra
Right.
one. Yeah. It is 1990 points. So if someone else built 2,000, I get
You get a triumph.
I get a triumph on top of that. So 3 battalions and a triumph.
Well, with the Shooty Boy list that I've been building, it's right at 2,000, so you would get that.
So I get a triumph. So, yeah, my unit that gets a whole bunch of stuff gets a triumph. Now, can you imagine reroll failed saves when you can't affect my save at all?
That's scary.
It's kind of gross.
Yeah. I'm just going to sit back and shoot. That's going to be the plan.
I'll just appear 9 inches away from you.
Not just put 9 inches on the other side of the
Yeah, that was probably the funniest thing because for those that don't know, the new Nighthawk and the Sacrosanct Chamber are kind of they're mirror images of each other.
Which I think is a little lazy, but also it's thematic, so it's fine.
It's pretty fun. I don't like the fact that you get -1 to hit or to be hit when you come in, but
I don't like that. If you roll a 10 to charge, you get to attack before the combat.
why don't you like that? I don't understand.
Sounds like a horrible thing that really hurts. I just can speak from experience on that.
So, I didn't think about this. We talked about recording some of the battles, and we should have recorded this one because my dice are always not on my side. They're always terrible.
Yeah.
They're consistently bad.
You got how many charges at 10 points?
I got off 4 or 5. So
It was enough to just mulch
On the turn that I actually charged, not my turn 1 shenanigan charges because I could, but my actual charges that I did.
Your first charge, you rolled a 9.
I rolled a 9.
And didn't get to attack. And then my Lord Arcanum ate your...
Mulched him.
Your Lord Executioner.
And I failed all of my unmodifiable 4-ups.
Yeah. One turn, Lord Arcanum mulched that guy. Which was cool.
Yeah, I mean, he was 80 points. I was sad. He did deal 3 wounds.
Even at -1 to hit, I still mulched him.
Yeah, which was gross.
And then that was the last time that my dice did anything.
That's very true.
Really?
That's when I stole your dice powers. Because I charged some Hex Wraiths into your Sequitors and rolled boxcars. Mm-hmm. Killed them.
Well, you killed them all.
Not that turn. I mean, not that fight.
I did get hit a little.
And then I charged in my Chain Rasps and rolled boxcars. Mm-hmm. Same charge phase. Yep. Double boxcars.
And managed to
an entire unit of Sequitors again. Because Chain Rafts, when you have all of the heroes nearby, they kind of turn into the Bobby Boucher lawnmower after Vicky Valancourt gets a hold of it.
Yeah.
Hope you like what I did to your lawnmower, Bobby Boucher.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so...
That's what we have here, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Those
little moments.
I'm sorry, I'll go back to being quiet.
No, that was perfect.
Live life in little moments, everybody. Brought to you by Tula.
I know. Way too much movie trivia, people.
And also, we're totally sitting here with cappuccinos in front of us. So.
Right, yeah, there's coffee involved. And we just had Tex-Mex food.
And I've never felt more pretentious in ordering a dirty apple cider.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you're not in a bar and you order something dirty, it just makes you pretentious. But I did it anyway. Because they're delicious. If you haven't had it, it's apple cider and espresso.
But yeah, so that game, I found out I had a battalion in that game. Did you have a battalion?
I did not have a battalion.
So I took one of the new battalions.
Which is why you won.
It is why I won. I took one of the new battalions. It's called the Hailstorm Battalion. And if you're playing Stormcast, you might as well take it. It's not super expensive and it's kind of cool. And you mix that with Anvils of the Heldenhammer and it's really great. But basically, you got some Castigators, you got a Captain Mustache, aka Lord Ordinator, and the new Cellstar Ballista. And if the Castigators wound somebody, then the Ballista gets to re-roll its attacks against that unit. 6 Castigators will usually get a wound through.
At least.
Especially when you can shoot them in the hero phase and the shooting phase.
Because that's fair.
Because Anvils. We'll talk about that more when we talk about Stormcast book. But then Captain Mustache lets the Ballista shoot on or hit on 4-ups when it's in rapid fire mode instead of 5-ups. And then that's a reroll. So lots of shots coming out of the Ballista. Did a good amount of damage for thinning out a good bit of your army. But we were playing Arcane Places of Power, which is one of the new battle plans. And you have to have a hero with an artifact of power or a wizard to control the objectives. And I killed your hero that had your artifact, right?
Yeah, because I whiffed everything on killing.
9 Shrouds versus a Lord Arcanum on Drift Charger.
You had 2 wounds, I had 1.
I never really whiffed.
I fought first.
You fought first and didn't kill me.
And didn't kill you.
So I think the 1 wound you got through, I saved.
No, because you had a 6 save because I took the -3 artifact just for that, and I just whiffed all the wound rolls. Because -1 to hit, and then...
Oh, yeah, you were -1 to hit because of my Drift Charger's ability.
Yep.
Or no, it was my...
Your artifact.
It was his artifact, which was from the realm of Gur, I believe.
Yeah, because that's where we fought.
Yeah. But, so I had... my general had an artifact, and then also my Lord Ordinator had the mandatory artifact that I had to take for being Anvils of the Heldenhammer. So he was able to hold the objective for me. And I managed to rack up some points. If you've never played the Places of Power, you have to have heroes near the objectives, and the longer they hold the objective, the more points they score for holding it. So. But I mean, all in all, I thought it was a really good game. Even if I had lost, I think I still would have thought it was a good game. It was It was pretty balanced. I think my battalion really helped. Your hot dice.
That
There
saved
was one time
me.
where you made 30 attacks with chain rasps, and all 30 hit, and all 30 wounded.
That was pretty gross.
That was
pretty gross.
Just ate through a unit of 5 evocators. Like, there was one left. Seth was like, nah, your evocators are going to wipe out this chain rasp horde.
To be fair, they would have.
They would have. But there was just one poor little evocator just sitting there when it was all
done. You said, where did my friends go?
Yeah. And then my dice betrayed me on the first roll with them. I rolled 10 d6s and got 2 4-ups.
Yeah, that was supposed to be your...
Yeah, that should have done a little bit more, but it didn't.
And to be fair, the one spell that you did not unbind was my D6 models back to a unit that I spiked a 6 on.
Yeah. So I kept the chain rasp forward, just chugging along like little Thomas Tank engines, just doing work.
I'd call him that, but I can't have 2 T names. Can't have Tommy Two Chains following the Thomas the Tank rasps.
You might as well. But yeah, so that's been our hobby with some games. What about you, Tila? I know you're doing some painting and getting your DOK.
Yeah, I'm taking 30 years to paint 5 Doomfire. So
Total well, I'll be done with the hobby by the time she finishes these.
they won't even play this game when I'm done.
Her next class is how to paint faster.
Yeah.
Sorry if you hear all of the painting noises like water sloshing and stuff, but
Yeah, that's not just me.
we're doing work.
To be fair, this is de-stress from work, so, I'll just take 30 years and that'll be alright.
Right. But no, they're looking super cool. I can't wait till you finish them and put some pictures up.
Oh, I know. The skin that she's putting on them is on the horses.
Yeah, did you go blue skin on the horses?
Yeah, it's like, not done, but it's like blue and purple.
That's super neato. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like some transitions. Oh, that's really cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't wait for you guys to see these. They're pretty neat.
If she ever puts a picture up.
Oh, they're done. Get the pictures.
All I do is text Wes my shame pictures. I don't text them to our group. I'm like, look at my shame, Wes.
I mean, to be fair, you only texted me that one X-ray, which I thought was pretty neat.
Oh, that color was terrible. I did an initial test color of just what I wanted to see what colors look like on a hex ray. And Bozo the Clown came out with a flaming cloak.
But you didn't have the new technical thing.
I did not. I was waiting on that to come in.
Yeah,
I will say it is super intimidating painting with Wes, because you think what you're doing is cool, and then he pulls out like a Marathi that looks amazing.
So this is one thing that I've learned about being around painters and just doing that thing. It's like, don't ever compare yourself to what you see other people doing. Like, because there's people that I sit down and paint with, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm going to throw all my brushes away. Because I'm terrible.
I feel that way with just people in general. Don't ever compare yourself to what other people are doing.
Yeah.
Unless everybody else is putting their hands up, then it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, but the good thing about Wes is, like, if you're like, oh, that's cool, like, show me how to do it. Like, he shows you how to do it.
That's why we're in Master Wes's Master Painting class.
Instead of just being like, ha, look what I can do. You'll never be this good.
No, that's the thing. Is like the only time that I will flaunt what modicum of skill that I have in painting is if there is a competition online, and then I'll be like, "Yep, I painted that."
That's mine. I did that. I made this.
But no, that's one thing that I've in gaming in general, and just hobbies in general, that always drives me bananas is when there's people who know what they're doing and they don't want to share that knowledge. Because after all, this is a hobby and it's fun. And yeah, there are pro painters out there who maybe like make their full living off of doing this, but for the most part, the people you're throwing down with in the game store, or if you go to a local tournament or something, we're all just hobbyists, and it's fun. I mean, I like it when people ask me to paint their stuff because I can buy more models with what I charge to paint an army. But I would rather teach somebody how to do it so that they can paint the models themselves, get the satisfaction and the joy out of painting their army, and just like Seth said, having an army that you painted that you're putting on the table, and that you then win a game or play a really good game with, is super satisfying. So, I'd love for people to have that feeling. So I really enjoy teaching people how to do this hobby. And if people can learn from me and then come up with their own techniques and their own ways of doing stuff, I really enjoy that as a hobbyist, just to see other people get excited about it.
If I had to define my technique, it would probably just be summed up in one word: slather.
I mean, it's not a bad technique for your arm.
Yeah. Yeah, if you have Night Haunt and you were debating on getting the Hex Wraith Flame technical paint, do it.
Yeah.
It's
really
beautiful.
Cool. If you want to do any kind of green flames, or green ghosts, or anything like that, it's really good.
Because like I'm almost sad covering up some of these parts that are green because they're just that pretty, but they don't match the total scheme that I'm going for. So
Looks like when you see a full army painted in that scheme on a table, it just looks pretty intimidating.
yeah,
And it looks pretty neat just to see an entire army just painted literally in one color, and just using natural shading and highlights. And maybe a little bit of dry brushing to kind of bring out the edges of it. But that's I've seen lots of people doing different things with the new greens and blues, and like even the old way of doing it with the neon oxide and that kind of thing.
yeah,
Was those armies just look really neat. They're super thematic. And
yeah.
I think that's one thing that a lot of times people forget is like a big part of how you paint up your army is thematic to make it look the way you want it to look and fit whatever your storyline is. You know, so dive right into that painting.
Yeah, that's what I had for mine, especially with the metal bone. What I was thinking, because I'm leaving all of their weapons to be ethereal and making their bones the metal. And I was thinking, how awesome would it be in the realm of metal that they take their weapons when they die and melt them down over their skeletons?
Oh, wow, that's a cool story. I like that.
So that when they come back, they manifest these spiritual weapons, but the bones themselves are...
Just this hardened, encased metal.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, see, that makes it even more just terrifying to fight now.
You can't kill the metal.
Yes, must die. But yeah, so I mean, we used in that game, we tried to use the RuneScape features. I think we forgot.
We forgot.
We forgot to look in the core book and realize that when you're playing in the Realm of Beast, each player can set up
The beast?
a random monster of their choice. On turn 3, I saw that. I think I was like, oh, we could have done that. It was okay because neither of us had any monsters in our
Right.
collections with us at the time that we could have brought. But you know, the different spells from the realms. It's funny. There's one like flock of
birds.
birds.
It's not even flock of killy birds. It's just flock of birds.
Flock of birds. But yeah, it's basically the swords endless spell. Pretty much the same thing. You just roll 12d6, and all the 6s give you some bonus, some more wounds out. I think we both tried to cast it. Did either of us ever get it off?
I finally got it off on Lord Mustache.
Oh yeah, I think you rolled like 1.
Yeah.
It
did not work for me.
It being super effective, but it was cool. We were both trying to like summon the birds of the realm. Like, please help us. And they were just
Please.
like we're good.
They were just flying around like, man, I can't eat anything on that
I
battlefield.
know, right? There's dead soul people and dead soul people.
Dead soul people for order. Dead soul people for dead.
I thought it was funny too because this is one thing I never told you the name of my relic that I have to take
Mm-hmm.
as Annals of the Elvenhammer. It's called the Soul Thief.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, so my relic is Sigmar? Okay. Oh, that sounds good.
I'll just give you Galmaraz while we're at it.
I mean, I can have Galmaraz, to be fair. It's only 340 points.
I can have Nagash, to be fair.
That's 8. Can you have Nagash with your 9 1? Still be 9 1?
You don't know.
Because you break your allegiance.
Which is kind of dumb. When you think about it.
You should be allegiance to Nagash.
Yeah, it's true. He's like, I'm not Night Hunt. You are me.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
You're my allegiance.
I own you.
Yeah, so, I guess still hobby-wise talking, like, what's everyone's sort of plan going forward? I know that as soon as I finish this DOK army, I'm going to close the commission book for a couple of weeks and really hammer out my Stormcast so that we can have fully painted armies.
Is that a
So we
pun?
can start recording battle.
Did you just make a pun?
Did I? Oh, I can hammer out some Stormcast.
You're going to hammer out your hammer Stormcast?
I guess I did. didn't mean to. It was unintended.
I have a friend that wants me to paint stuff for him, but I don't think he realizes how long that would literally take for me.
You could get the commission.
It would take so long.
Get that side hustle.
You know what's really good
I need to take the painting faster class first.
about snap fit models that you don't snip everything and glue them? Is chains are really easy to get to. And I apologize if my voice keeps changing, but we had Tex-Mex, and I've got indigestion like crazy.
Do you need some relief?
I need a Tums.
I got some.
Oh wait, we can't do that. We're not sponsored by Tums.
No sponsors there.
Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. No.
Someone is listening who wants to make that happen.
Yeah, the Tums.
Are we not sponsored by Dirty Cider?
We didn't say where it was from. Faceless dirty cider. Look at chewables. You know me so well.
Yeah, so I think this is a good time. We can talk about.
Talk about your plans.
Yeah, talk about some plans. I mean, obviously, you're going to go night on. You're going to add a bunch of new stuff.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out. I usually buy things by list. And then I like to play the list and then, see how I like it. And I like to buy models that are in multiple lists first.
Right.
So I'm thinking I've got to pick up, because I've got enough hex rates to essentially do everything that I want to do. And for cool factor, I'm going to pick up the Black Coach. When it comes out. Unless I'm just in the ball crying at how expensive the model itself is.
Oh, it's going to be a lot. Those new Knights are like $150.
The what now?
The new Knights for $40K.
Oh.
They're huge.
I thought you were talking about my Dreadblade Harrows.
No.
I was like, how? So, I'm going to get the Black Coach. I want to pick up Lady Olinder just because that's a pretty cool model.
It's a cool model and she's super good.
Yeah. And then I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to do my Horsey Boy list or my Scythe Boy list. Because I got a couple different ones.
That all cabinet looks just dirty.
It really is. So for those that don't know, in the Night Haunt book, there's a battalion called Death Riders that includes a Knight of Shrouds on a steed and or I think it's just Reikenor the Grimhaler.
Well, it's probably the keyword Knight of Shrouds, right? And I think he counts as a Knight of Shrouds.
Does he? He doesn't have the keyword.
No.
Because I checked that. Because, funny enough, the Dreadblade Harrows, you need 2 of them for the battalion, and a Black Coach, and 2 units of hex rates. And if you take Reikenor, you get he's a spellcaster, a really, really good spellcaster. But if you take a Knight of Shrouds on steed, the Dreadblade Harrows, while they're within 9 inches of him, not wholly within, just within 9 inches of him, reroll hit rolls. So it's kind of like, do I want a wizard? But regardless of what you decide on that, the whole point is you get an extra inch to your charge for everyone in the battalion, and your super lawnmower goes off on a 9 instead of a 10, which is great.
Which is if you roll a natural, the allegiance ability is you roll a natural 10 for your charge unmodified.
You fight.
And you fight
immediately.
And that doesn't count as your fight for the combat phase.
Nope. You fight in the charge phase. You don't even move to the other phase.
So if there's something that the other guy gets to knock off on at the start of the combat phase,
like say reroll failed save rolls or something, then they don't get that.
Which is gross. But that battalion says that you get that allegiance ability going off with the units in that battalion.
Which is super great because it combines with your one of your 6 allegiance abilities as Night Haunt, that you can just appear outside of 9 inches You can start the game off the board and then just appear outside of 9 inches of all enemy models.
Only half your army can be set up.
Only half.
You have to have, for every one that you want to put under the ground, you have to have one on the board. So you have to start with one on the board, and then you can start off.
Yeah, but you know what you do with the Dreadblade arrows? You put them on the board. And then you put maybe a unit of Hexrice on the board. And then everything else goes into space. And then as soon as the game starts, your hero phase, you take the Dreadblades that you put on the board, and you move them anywhere outside of 9 inches.
Because they can just do that?
Because they can just do that.
That's really...
And then you bring everything else down.
Scary.
Yeah. As long as they're not in combat, they can move.
Well, that's the other thing, too. When you're setting up, you could do... you could put one unit that's not in the battalion on the board, and you could put the whole battalion in reserve.
Really?
Yeah. Battalions can be set up together.
Really?
They have to come in together if you set them up that way.
I learn something every day.
And there's nothing, I mean, there may be an FAQ about that eventually, but there's nothing currently in the book that says you can't do that. So, same thing as one.
That's why you really won't want it. I'll tell you what, nothing worse than wanting to know where the ballista's going to go and it just still being stuck in space.
It's just chilling.
And you're like, I really need to know where that's going to end up so that I can
Not be there.
plan appropriately. And
Yeah, I
then
really like putting the ballista up.
it's terrible and terrifying.
Especially with some of the battalions you can take with it where it gets bonuses for when it comes down.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's considered a sacrosanct unit.
That's terrible.
What about you, Tila? What are you going to do when you finish up your DOK? Just keep expanding the DOK army or do something else?
I'm pretty devoted to this one army at the moment. I can't even consider playing anything else. So I'll probably just buy more of them and paint more of them.
So you're probably going to get to the snakes next.
Yeah, I'm super excited about those.
Yeah, the snakes are cool.
Snakes are gross.
They've got some nasty abilities, that's for sure.
Just the fact that more than just witch elves and sisters of slaughter can benefit from the witch's brew is dumb.
I think you still get enough of those.
Not really though. I mean, it's rerolls to wound.
Well, yeah, I mean, the difference between having 5 or 6 wounds get through that you get to reroll versus 20 is,
I suppose. I saw one guy do it with the snakes, and he buffed them with the every 6 is 2 wounds
ouch.
and double the rend characteristic of the weapon. So they were -2 rend, every 6 was 2 wounds. And he mulched through something.
Yeah, that sounds scary.
I was like, oh, that's pretty gross. But yeah, to be fair, they don't get 4 attacks apiece like witch elves do, and they cost substantially more.
Right, yeah. But I mean, if you've got a what do you call it, a hag sitting around that can roll up, she might as well, right?
Right. And hags are only 60 points.
Yeah. But you only have 6 heroes, so.
That's what's killing me right now.
Yeah,
They're coming out with all these heroes.
Well, I mean, Storm can the same way, man. I want to have. Although, to be fair, the cost of all of my stuff really limits what I can and can't take.
Yeah.
No, but I'm really thinking about in this multi-battalion list that I'm working on, putting in a Knight Venator and having him take the Luckstone.
Which one's that?
So it lets me just say, I don't know if I think it lets me re-roll a die. Once per game I can re-roll a die.
Is it any die?
Yeah. Well, no, it's got some stipulations, but one of them's a wound roll.
Oh, okay.
So when you use the Star Faded Arrow, it's hitting on a 2+, so that's pretty reliable, but it wounds on a 3+. If I can't figure out a way to get him +1 to wound, then, which I guess technically, the turn that I'm going to do it, I guess I could empower him so that he has
Reroll
all
wounds.
his wounds. So. But because that's nasty against a monster, that's D6 +3 mortal wounds that it takes.
cheese 6 plus 3 because, why not?
Well, I mean, it's like I said, it's once per game. If you declare that you're doing it and you miss or you don't wound, it's just gone.
I did see, you probably watched the same one I watched where the guy took that and he had a big Star Drake, the big giant Star Drake. And it was versus Death, and the guy had a Terrorgeist. And he was like, I'm going to use my once per game shot on that Terrorgeist. He goes, and I've never hit it before. He goes, never. He goes, I played like 4 or 5 games with this thing and never hit with it.
Right.
Rolled a 1 to hit with it again. And that I just feel bad for.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's one of those things, like, it's once per game. And yeah, it's powerful, but I feel like if you miss, then you should get to try. Be like, okay, well, I didn't actually get to launch a Starfleet arrow right there.
But you did launch it. You just missed.
No.
You're just bad and you should feel bad. I should know. I rolled boxcars twice in a row.
Yeah, twice in a row. That was...
Not in a game.
Yeah.
In a row.
2 charges in a row. And Sequitors just went back to Sydney.
Yeah, they did.
That's pretty funny.
In pieces. Because Chain Rasp get 2 attacks apiece, because that's fair.
Uh-huh. Like I said, I mean...
They are expensive. I mean, it's less than 300 points for 40 of them.
Right, yeah. And, they're so hard to include.
I totally didn't build a list with 160 of them.
And so I play for everything else.
Yeah. That's 2 of their battalions.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, like, I think that's fun about this game, too, is trying to figure out how to overcome, some of those ridiculous odds. Because, like, for me as a Stormcast player, I see, 40 dudes, and I'm like,
You're like, I have that many in my army.
yeah.
Not just
bad.
one
It's
unit.
Like, how can I, with perfect throughput in a round, how much damage can I do? That unit's still not me.
Yep.
You're never going to get perfect throughput. Someone's always going to say, you're always going to miss, you're always going to fail. So,
Yeah, did you watch the Warhammer official Twitch stream where they did Sylvaneth versus New Nighthaunt?
No, but I'm sure it was disgusting.
Yeah, he did the Spirit Host Hex Wraith list and a Black Coach.
That's not cool.
And if you don't know, the Black Coach just returns D3 models, not heals D3 wounds, but brings back D3 models. So multi-wound models he brings back D3 of.
Spirit House. 3 wounds.
Yeah, 3 wounds each, he brings them back.
That's cool.
So they went, it was a unit of 20 Hex Wraiths into a Tree Lord Ancient, Durthu, and a unit of Dryads. And they survived a turn.
Did he survive?
They survived a combat and killed all of the Dryads. Because when...
I mean, the Spirit House survived.
No, the Hex Wraiths.
Oh, the Hex Wraiths survived, yeah.
Hex Wraiths survived.
I don't know. The trees aren't surviving that.
The Dryads aren't, but the trees... I mean, come on. Your saves are... What, 2-ups on Sylvaneth trees? I say yours because you still have them. Yeah.
2 different ones.
Yeah, so...
I mean, you're probably going to take an artifact to make it.
But the real kicker is apparently somehow Durthu, because they had a Lariel on their side. And...
It's a small army.
Yeah, Durthu somehow was dealing 5 wounds every time he wounded.
When Durthu's not hurt, his sword does 6 damage.
Ugh, that's gross.
And if he has 3 attacks, and if he is within 3 inches of a Sylvaneth Wild, he gets an extra D3 attacks.
So that would explain it.
So he potentially has 6 attacks that hit on 3s, wound on 3. Oh, maybe wound on 2s when he's not hurt. I can't remember.
That's nasty. But I started watching about halfway through, and apparently the reason that they survived was because when Durthu went up there, he hit with 6 attacks. And he wounded with 6 attacks.
Oh, so there's-
And unmodifiable 4-up, he saved every single one of them.
Holy crap.
Every single one.
Yeah, because I think that's sort of -2 as well. So
Yeah.
like it's disgusting if Dorothy hits you.
He was like, wow. Because I came in like right at that time.
Yeah, because this is the thing, you can't be good at rules and good dice.
Maybe that's my issue.
Yeah, but it's the thing, like, in the game that we played, I don't feel like the rules are unfair.
No.
You know, I feel like they're misplaced. I agree with some of the other reviews that I've seen of the Nighthawk Legion's ability, that it sounds like a destruction ability.
Yeah, sure.
Oh my goodness, can you imagine
Destruction with
a
that?
group of hard boys with that rule?
No, I don't want to. It's very destruction-y, and it's very gross when it goes off.
Yeah, it hurts. It changes combat.
It really does. I mean, getting it off 4 times in a game literally changed the entire course. If we hadn't run out of turns, I would have wiped him out.
Oh, yeah. There's no else to run in that game. Well, if it had been the last turn, I also might have done things a little bit differently.
Sure.
I wouldn't have charged my castigators up in. I would have let them keep sitting back and being safe and shooting.
Oh, come on. You wouldn't have hit me with your buttstocks?
No, absolutely not.
But that's a sound combat tactic.
To beat somebody with the back of your gun?
Yeah, to run into a 2 attacks apiece, re-rolling almost
Lots of
everything.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, like, with Nighthawk, I mean, it's very much hero dependent, just
Yep.
like any other Death Army. And the new, speaking of new rules, the new Lookout Sir rule really came into play for you.
Oh, yeah.
Not so much in that it caused me to miss, but it caused me to shoot at different things. I didn't shoot at the hero because I knew that I would have been down with it.
And 5s to hit reliably is...
Right, yeah. I mean, that's why you take the Aurora Gainer, so your ballistic is on 4 and not 5. And so if you put me back up to hitting on 5, like that's... Now, granted, I was re-rolling them because I already hit the Cascaders. So
But not that particular unit,
they're
though.
not the hero. If I'd gone after the hero, they're harder to hit with. And that 4-up unmodifiable, you know, I've played a decent bit of 40k against Cinch and been up against a 4-up Embalm. And it's never been a problem. But that's because they don't have another save after that.
Yeah. Are you talking about my 6-up?
Yeah.
It's just a
look,
6-up.
Tommy changes nearby. Let's get another save.
See, that's my... One of my lists contains the Bladegeists that, while they are near a Knight of Shrouds, I believe, they have a 5-up invuln instead of a 6-up.
So 4-up unmodifiable, 5-up unmodifiable.
Yep, 4-up, 5-up.
And I think one thing, I don't know if Games Workshop is moving this way, but there are some units and some things that exist in the books that make me think that maybe they are going to move this way eventually. Like sometimes those word saves are only against mortal wounds.
Yeah. No, I think they should be.
There's some Stormcast artifacts. They're like, if you suffer a mortal wound on a 4-up, you ignore it. But it's not your regular wounds because you have your save for it.
Yeah. I can understand keeping in certain armies with the 6-up. Like Death, it makes sense.
No, it's super thematic. And like I said, I don't think it's overpowered. It's just extra, it's extra ammo in your arsenal.
Yeah. But that's also outside of a battalion unmodifiable. You just have a 6.
It's just that, yeah.
Now, I know I harp on Fire Slayers a lot, and I'm sorry, Mike, I'm going to do it again. But when you have a 4-up armor save, and then you have...
They usually have 5 and 6-up armor saves, to be fair.
If you have Rend,
No.
they can get a 4-up.
I think his regular dudes, like Vorkites, I think they're 5.
Even still, a 5-up, 4-up is gross.
Oh, yeah. But the 5-up's modifiable, so I can... Or that 4-up's modifiable, so I can...
Yeah, by killing more people.
No, it's modifiable by my Rend.
not the second 4-up.
Oh, no, that one's not. But once again, that's hero based. He's got to be near the heroes to get those things.
Actually, I think that one's just model based. I think that one's the one for his 30 Volkite. As long as he has 30, he gets a 4-up.
It's that Hearthguard Berserkers that if they're near the hero, they get that.
Yeah. That's the other one.
If he's got 30, then he gets the 4-up. That's right. If he's got 20, something like that. It's crazy. But,
Which they did increase the costs of them, so I'm, sorry, Fire Slayer players.
Fire Slayer's good. It's one of those ones you want to figure out how to win,
Yep. So I don't mind playing them, but they are the most aggro-threatened ones.
Oh, they are aggro. That's true. I'll agree there. Oh, man. So, what are your thoughts so far on how 2.0 is going? We've gotten a couple of games of different types in some multiplayer games.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about the multiplayer.
You've gotten experience rules and some of the changes. And
I actually really like it. I don't know if I would go back, to AOS 1 and be happy.
Yeah, I think some of the new rule set is tight, like the old one. There's not a lot to deal with and concern yourself with in terms of the basics of the rules. Now, just like with Battletoads and stuff like that, the different books between the Line Sorcerer's book and the core book and all the different stuff, there's a lot of stuff to remember. But those aren't core rules of how the game plays. Those are additional rules that come from other sources. I think the core rule set is really good. It's really tight. I think they've addressed some of the things that made AOS 1.
Yeah. I think the best thing for me, the one I'm really excited about, is the command abilities.
I do. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
That is my favorite part. Being able to, A, use all of your command abilities, but B, hold them for strategic things. Well, I guess I would if I wasn't so impetuous to where I think I blew all of my command points on turn 1 that I had extra on rerolls to charge.
Right.
Because I wanted to make honestly useless charges, but they would have been fun. But that's just me. I do that.
But I like the idea of you're going to take different units and you're going to look at things differently. Like, the Storm Host is a big part of what makes a Storm Host good, is what their command ability becomes. Like Ends of the Homehammer are just ridiculous with being able to have a unit. For a command point, you can have a unit shoot in the hero phase or have a unit fight in the hero phase. And that's extra activation. We've talked about activations quite a bit in the past.
Which is really good.
Having a unit attack when it's not quote unquote supposed to is huge. So, and that's looking through the command abilities. That's really the best one.
Yeah, I can see that.
Most of the other ones are like, reroll ones to wound, reroll ones to hit, extra, buffs to your casting, stuff like that. That one's just nasty.
Yeah, that helped a lot. Getting that extra shot so that your ballista.
Basically, I think every turn my Cascaders were firing
twice. Yeah. Because you popped it every turn, and then you kept your extra one for when you really needed it towards the end.
Yeah, when I needed to make sure I passed the battle trap. That was a needless battle trap.
Yeah, because that was going to come into play. The -1 on your bravery, and your poor evocator was just going to run away.
Yeah. And Captain Mustache said, "No, you will not, sir."
Not today.
You can stay right there, buddy. You can fight again.
At least one more time.
Yeah.
Before he died.
Then he got murderized. But yeah, I like the new rule set. I'm enjoying it. I can't wait to play more games. I can't wait for to see more stuff that comes out. Really excited that we're going to see. I think we're going to see his Slanesh book. Although we were talking about it. Did you see the rumor?
I did not. I know you said it looked like a ratty boy.
It's a very up close of a bunch of skins stitched together, which could be Slanesh, but it could be a rat beard.
That's definitely rats.
I can totally see there being some just like crazy Slanesh you know.
But is stitching flesh really their thing?
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
Pain and torture.
if you're doing it for fun, but they don't leave it that way. They stitch to make things more beautiful.
Well, I mean, you know, it's a miniature, so it has to be in one state. It can't be changing.
The torture would be in the fluff, not the model.
Yeah, probably. No, I agree. I mean, it looks very much like some kind of a crazy rat or molder kind of thing.
Maybe that's why they were so disappointing in the book.
I gotta be honest. I don't want rats to come out right away.
Not after this.
No, I'm enjoying Stormcast at this point. When I started trying to play Stormcast last time, like a year ago, I was not as after the book had come out, and I was not super happy with how the book worked. The basic Stormcast, the Warrior Chambers, I'm not a fan. I don't like Judicators and Liberators and Lord Celestins. I didn't especially like the Vanguard Chambers at the time. I like them a lot more now.
They just didn't seem to compare
Right.
and mesh very well.
They're a little bit different. But the Sacrosanct stuff I really like. I like the Wizards. I like the Spell Wars in the book. Those are fun to play with. They're interesting. And, you know, I've said this before, one of the reasons that I got rid of my corn and didn't like them was they didn't play in every phase of the game. You know?
Ah, they unbind?
You know, well, I mean, in your turn, you say, all right, hero phase, let's get some stuff out. Got any magic? That's done.
Yep.
Move, okay. Shooting, all right, that's done. You know, and
So you're saying they only played in 2 phases of the game?
they really don't play. Like, you could get to your hero phase in about 20 seconds every turn.
They got charge and combat.
I mean, let's be fair, those are some phases of the combat phase.
But they do it so well.
No, they don't. That's the other problem.
Yeah, to be fair,
The mortal parts don't. The demons do.
I've never really seen them do well.
No, I mean, I think, you know, at 200 points, Blood Warriors don't produce like they should. At 200 points for 10. Especially with, you know, the idea of Khorne is like, the only thing that's honorable is to fight hand-to-hand combat, and then you're not just monsters in hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah. I will destroy you. Why are you better than me at the one thing that I do?
The thing that I'm supposed to be good at, you're way better at than I am. So, you know, that was my issue with Bloodbound. I really liked them. That was the problem. I really liked them. They were just kind of the point where I was like, I'm tired of buying models that aren't going to even moderately come close to winning. I mean, it's true. I need an army that kind of functions on its own and doesn't require my expertise.
Yeah, I'm there.
Because,
Are you relying on me to have strategy? No. I'm relying on Nagash to have strategy. I just want to move the models around.
that's not a strategy.
What, 8 spells a turn?
That's what the time is not a strategy. I mean, I'm sure someone thinks that's strategy.
So let's go from spells. Let's talk about the endless spells that we used in our
Oh, yes, we played a big multiplayer game.
shenanigan multiplayer game.
And we did the relocation order within the 4-way, which was really odd and kind of silly.
Super silly. We knew that going in.
Yeah, but basically what we did was we played 1,000 points each, and it was a free-for-all. And
I think we pretty much required everybody to take
yeah, because
at least one endless spell.
I was like, come on, take endless spells. We're going to take endless spells. So we had Purple Sun, we had Either Way Pendulum, we had the Schnackles, we had...
I had the Suffocating Gravetide, which never was able to cast.
I had the Chronomantic Tons, which also I was never able to cast.
And I had the... Oh, what is it? I always forget the name.
Maelstrom.
That's it.
And It never unbound me.
No, it did at the very end.
Did it?
And then we ran out of turns before we could make it
I
explode.
think we ran out of time.
Yeah.
It was a big 4-way game.
And we're all sitting here trying to learn new stuff.
Yeah, and it was just taking forever. So we played like 2 rounds, and it was fun.
Especially with all the endless spells everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that was Aether Void Pendulum just kind of ran through. Like, I hid, and it barely passed right in front of me and almost hit me.
It stopped me from bringing a 40-man unit of Rasp on the field.
For a while, yeah.
Because there was nowhere to put them except in the way, and that wasn't about to happen.
And Tila dropped a purple sun right on my head.
Twice, I think.
She just moved over.
Yeah, just moved over it twice.
That was gross. It never really killed anybody.
Well, no, because your stupid ability. Hey, I know you're dead, but you're not.
I'm going to convince you otherwise. That's really what that spell is. He's just like, no, we talked about this.
You're not dead until I say you're dead.
You die when I say you die. Which is such a great Stormcast thing to do.
Now, anyway.
Well, so here's the thing. When you read some of the news stories and things, it's not even the sacrosanct that are in these stories, but they're like, don't question the God King. You leave when he says you can. And this other Stormcast is like, man, I'm really tired of being out here. Like, can I just die? Like, the Lord Relictor keeps bringing me back and won't let me go back to his ear. And it's like, yeah, well, deal with it.
I mean, I know we've all been there at football camp, but it's just how it feels. What am I talking about? Band camp.
Yeah, right. But
Sorry.
that was
It's a really nerdy laugh. Isn't it?
Tila snort. But no, I mean, I think it was.
Match the band camp.
It's funny because that ability of the Lord Arcanums is basically him just saying, "Yeah, not your time yet." So just stick in your armor there for another minute or two for me, if you will.
Right. I don't care if it's filling up with blood.
Just hang around, swing that hammer one bow again, and then you can peace out. Until you get hit with one mortal wound again.
Yeah. Though I do feel bad for them though when the last thing on the enemy's turn and you're like, nope. So they come back. And then the next time, the last thing on the enemy's turn, you go to kill him. Nope.
Because I think that I had that happen several times in the game so far, where a unit of Sequitors would take 2 mortal wounds, one of them would die,
Yep.
or they would take 2 wounds, one of them would die, and the Lord Arcanum would go, no, stand back up, please.
Yep.
And then they would fight and do everything, and then they would take 1 wound that would get through,
Stand back up.
and they would die, and he'd be like, it'd be the next turn, so he'd be like, no.
What did I tell you last time?
It's like, you have to really stop doing this. But it's a neat ability. I think the Stormcast need it because they don't really have any way to negate mortal wounds and that kind of thing. So
No, mortal wounds do. I mean, which is funny, when I hit with the chain rasps, I was spiking nothing but 6s.
oh yeah,
And they don't get anything on a 6.
they don't deserve anything honestly.
That's very true. But when I would hit with the hex rates, who need the 6s,
Oh, you wouldn't roll many, but when you did,
yeah, it would just automatically kill them.
just do these models because unless I'm Hammers of Sigmar, which I'm not going to be.
Is that the death one?
No, Anvil would help Hammer in the death ones. The ones I like. No, the Hammers of Sigmar are within 6 inches of your general. Everyone gets a 6-up. Oh yeah, they get the death type ability.
Oh.
Yeah, they go roll with a 6-up if they're near the general. Which is, something that Stormcast don't have.
Sigmar, the ability thief.
Right.
Yeah, everybody's going to have to wait till next week for me to talk about how everything's Sigmar's fault again. So that is a few things that I'm going to have to get used to with this edition is the Holy Within instead of just Within.
So if you bought a Solar's box, you can go ahead and throw those cards away. that came in the box. Because the battle tomes have different war scrolls.
Right.
Which is odd.
At least his year's updated now.
Is it?
For now.
Yeah, for like a day. And then
Well, it wasn't updated. Then they updated Warhammer Community, and then that wasn't fully updated. Then they updated Azir, and so now Warhammer Community is broken again.
I don't do Warhammer Community days.
For yours,
No.
it's got 3 Night Hunt.
No. But yeah, so a lot of the war scrolls that came in the box, like the cards, said they had things at the still with the 6+, like to do more wounds. So, but they changed a lot of that now. It is on an unmodified roll of 6.
Yep.
Something happens. And that's unilateral in the battle times. Now, obviously, your older scrolls are still, they haven't been updated. So, like, Archon has a thing that on a 6 does, and so that still works. But the newest war scrolls for the 2 armies that came in the box have been updated to this new way of thinking, which is fine, I suppose.
I like it better, honestly.
No, I think overall it seems like a nerf, but it really is a buff. Because
You think it's a nerf until the first time you go against somebody that says minus 1 to hit,
-1.
and you can still spike on a 6.
Still good on 6. Yep. And that's the big. That's why it's a buff, because there's so many armies out there that can give you -1 to hit.
Yep.
And you don't have tons and tons of ways of getting yourself +1 to hit. So I think in the overall, it is a.
What's kind of crazy though is they did give us a lot more ways to get +1 to hit
Right. They did.
in the Night Hunt, and it doesn't matter. Which though, I mean, it's still really good.
Oh, yeah, it's great. It's still great.
Like, I mean, yeah, +1 to hit. I mean, I'll take it all day, and I'll still hit you with 6s, and I'll still hit you with 5+1s for 6s, but they just won't be.
Right. Yeah, it'll still hit. And I'll still get to rolling damage. I think it's things like the place where it's play styles are going to be nerfed are things like Light Kings.
Yep.
Because there was a way with Light Kings, and it wasn't difficult to do. I don't remember exactly how it worked. Mike showed me how it would work fairly simply with Light Kings to get them +2 to hit.
Oh my god.
So their ability of exploding 6s would be going off on a 4-up. They hit on a 3-up, so
That's disgusting.
pretty much every and that just doesn't seem fair.
That's a little bit much.
So I like the change to the unmodified 6. So, well, let's see here. We are just at an hour of ramble. Do you guys have anything to wrap up with?
I've done 11 chains with a sliver of gold over all of them, and I almost dipped my brush in my coffee.
It happens. That's why I keep my drinks far away. So that's going to be our show for this week. I'll send this off to Mike and we get the intro and everything put on it.
And we apologize.
And like I said, we just wanted to get something out for you guys to listen to. We know a lot of you guys just put something in the background while you paint or build models, and our ramblings don't affect you in the least. But we do appreciate the Hammerheads. We'd like you guys to tune in. Feel free to contact us if you want to make comments or talk. You can hit us up on Facebook. Just search for Age of the Hammer. You can email us, ageofthehammer@gmail.com. And we're on Twitter.
We're on Twitter.
Age of the Hammer. So definitely Hammerheads. Feel free to hit us up, ask us questions. Let us know about events you have going on here in the Southeast. If we can come and play, we love throwing dice. We will definitely bring armies and play if we're able to do so. But until next week, keep rolling dice.
The SGWA would like to thank you for listening. We would also like to mention our theme music, the classic O Fortuna, as recorded by the MIT Concert Choir and used under common license. The age of the hammer is upon us.